Do you have that? Okay, I was waiting for you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the committee, before you is House Bill 1037, Calvert County zoning target ranges. The bill specifies that Calvert County Board of the Commissioners may not prohibit the construction and use of an indoor target range in any area of the county zoned for industrial, commercial, rural, or mixed use, or an indoor-outdoor range may be in the area of the county zoned for rural commercial, or light industrial use. And very briefly, Madam Chair, this is based on the fact that we live in, of course, a diverse county. Many parts of it are rural, and there are many areas which would be appropriate to have both, and it makes no sense to separate the two, and that was the reason that we had this bill.
Okay, is Bill Pitcher, Ken Hall, or Chuck Early here?
They're here.
Come on up.
You're going to want to be near the... Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the committee, I'm Bill Pitcher here representing the National Rifle Association in support of House Bill 1037. Excuse me. It's like stuck in the mud. I hesitate to get involved in a local political disagreement between the county council and their delegation, but and I don't know that that's actually still the case, but...
That's not the case.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah, that's
not the case.
Well, that's why I'm trying to make sure that we understand.
Well, let's not misstate the facts of this committee. There is no disagreement on this issue that I'm aware of between the delegation and the county council. So to say that, sir, is just disingenuous.
Well, I was trying to disagree. Discount that. Pardon me. I'll take it back. What I'm trying to say is that there has been some talk about the need for the target ranges, and the only reason that I'm here today on behalf of the NRA is that last year in another bill, you all in your wisdom required that for a handgun qualification license that there be a certain amount of live fire target practice done, and there are none, or there are very few opportunities in Calvert County and very few around the state in many areas, and we expressed that at the time that, this is something we have to take into account for people to be able to exercise their rights. That's all we're trying to do, is to point that out to you, and that this is a good thing, and we support the bill and Delegate Fisher's intent on it. So, and I don't know exactly where we went astray there, but I apologize if there was anything.
Yeah. Madam Chair, if I may, just to clarify and to support my fellow Calvert County Delegate O'Donnell, there is no disagreement with the Calvert County Commissioners on this issue. So, exactly. And so if there were, I would have made that representation to you in my testimony. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and committee members for taking the time. My name is Chuck Early. I'm a resident of Calvert County, also a private business owner, dealing with firearms sales and also firearms training. Just wanted to come and show my support of the bill. We desperately need a facility that will allow us to train our citizens, our local county residents, with proper safety and firearm ownership, and the bill would just help us facilitate that.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm definitely in support of this bill, and we are truly in desperate need down in Calvert County. There is very little facilities except for someone's private property that you can do any kind of target shooting or any kind of handgun qualification licensing, and that is problematic within itself because you really shouldn't be doing that at someone's private property. But that's all the resources we have down there. This has just been, it's a growing issue down there, and we desperately need facilities to where we can do not just the HQLs, but we need to be able to train our up-and-coming hunters. We need to be able to train any number of LEOs who are going to go ahead and they need requalification. Facilities are in desperate need down there. And I think that this is, if we can expand, I think that this would be a good thing. Thank you very much. I apologize. Mm-hmm. Kenneth Hall, and I am a gunsmith in Calvert County.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And this would be for you, Delegate, and it's partly my own ignorance. I don't recall, does Calvert County have its own authority to establish zoning requirements and uses by their zoning law?
Yes, they do.
Okay. So did the county commissioners decide not to adopt this into their current zoning law? Is that why it is before us today?
I think this is before you today because we have, of course, an enormous amount of agricultural preservation land in Calvert County. And what we're trying to do is to allow both facilities to be on the same property. Now remember, Delegate, that this would still have to go through a very exhaustive local zoning process and hearing process and special appeals process. I mean, in no way does this preempt any of that. That still would have to occur. All this bill's doing is saying we want zoning policy to be such that both facilities could go on the same property. And at the moment, that doesn't appear to be possible without this legislation.
So the local government, the county commissioners, would not have the authority to do what this bill has intends to achieve?
I'm not sure if they do or not. What I do know is if this bill passes, and we certainly ask for you to pass this bill, that the local county commissioners and the local business folks would have one facility on the same property. And I would tell you, in a place like Calvert County, that's very badly needed because we really don't have that right now.
And I guess my last question is, you have a number of what I would define as zoning classifications here, or at least uses, when you're talking about rural, commercial, industrial, mixed use, and then for indoor-outdoor includes light industrial. How many acres or what percentage of the total county land base would be included in these, in the definitions that you have here?
Sure, I don't know the percentage. I'm happy to get that for you. I can certainly tell you that with the indoor target ranges in Calvert County, we have very, very limited industrial commercial area in Calvert County. And the problem, of course, is that our rural properties and our ag properties are separate, and they tend to be the largest properties, and as a consequence, they tend to be the most appropriate locations for the combined facilities. And right now, that's not permitted. And
Well,
so-
if you could get, even, doesn't have to be down to the precise acreage, but something percentage, give me some idea, that'd be very helpful.
Sure.
Thank you.
Happy to do it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. And I just trying to understand, because counties are very different one from the other, and their local governments and everything. So I'm just trying to understand this a little bit. The purpose paragraph of the bill says that it provides that the County Board of Commissioners may not prohibit the construction and use of certain target ranges in certain zoning districts in the county. And I guess I want to just follow up to say, I'm just trying to understand, is this a local zoning issue, or is this why is it here? Is that the kind of county where you have to come to the state to get all your local legislation approved?
Sure. Well, to answer your question, this would be like going to a car wash and paying at the car wash and having to go to another car wash to wash your car
I'm not
wash.
asking about that. I'm talking about just the relationship between the county government and the state government.
So your question is, I'm sorry, your question is the relationship being what?
We have some counties, and I thought they were commissioner counties, but I don't remember exactly, so that's why I'm asking the question. And maybe I'll just have to check with staff later, and I will do that. But there are some counties where all their local legislation has to be approved by the state because of the form of government that they have at that level. And there are all kinds. There are code counties, there are commissioner counties, there are charter counties. There's like four or five different kinds of county government. Mm-hmm. And so I'm trying to figure out how this bill and this county relates to all of that.
Sure. The answer to your question is what I can answer your question with is to say that we're trying to restore the property rights of folks who are trying to put the same indoor and outdoor facility on the same property.
So does this relate to one particular piece of property?
It does not. It does not. So, yeah, in Calvert we have a tremendous amount of ag pres property, And
So do you envision like there being multiple people that would take advantage of this change in the zoning law?
what I would, okay, yes, absolutely. I would envision
Okay, that's
lots.
what, I'm just trying to understand what the scope of this is and why it's here.
So I would
Thank
envision,
you.
I would envision lots of people wanting to use their property for its intended purpose. But remember, Delegate, they still have to go through the local planning and zoning process. They still have to go through the local public hearing process. I mean, we're not making decisions up here. The decisions are still made in Calvert County, and they're made at all the local public hearing processes. What this is doing is it's basically saying we're not
That's
going
okay.
to separate
I'll
both
work with the
facilities.
staff to get my question answered. It's probably a technical question anyway, and I apologize.
And I do have a question, because what you just said, this doesn't, what did you just say?
Oh, sure. With this,
That all the zoning and all the decisions will be made at the local level, correct?
they're still being made at the local level. They're still going to have a public hearing process.
Right.
Um,
But let me read what the bill fiscal note policy says. This bill specifies that the Calvert County Board of County Commissioners may not prohibit the construction and use of an indoor target range in any area of the county zone, industrial, da-da-da-da. All right, now, I'm used to local bills. We do them all the time in Baltimore
Of course,
City.
of course.
They are enabling bills, but this is a prohibition.
Yeah,
So can we work with you a little bit on this? Because my gut tells me that staff is going to tell me we're walking into a territory that we've not walked into before. That's
Yeah.
all.
No, I thank you,
I
Madam
want to
Chair.
work with you.
I would love to work with you.
Okay, I knew you would. Thank you very much. And you guys, thanks for coming up. We got a couple other questions. I'm sorry. Delegate Neiman, and then Delegate.
Wow.
Well, now that our attention's been drawn to it, I guess I share the same sentiment that the chair have. As it stands, the bill is a prohibition saying may not prohibit the construction and use. Now, that's everywhere else that I know about. That's a zoning issue to say you can't have it. So, it's sort of, you can say, well, all the zoning things have to be complied with, except what this bill says is you can't zone against this, which means there are no zoning, that zoning can't become a factor in here, that it's simply saying, well, you can't zone it. You can't have a zone that says it can go some places and not others. And I guess the question I rise is the second part, the indoor range, target range. That's kind of one thing, but now an outdoor or an outdoor target range. Now that's like if you take away the zoning power, right, then somebody goes and sets a bunch of targets up in the back 40, and you have an outdoor target range, and then you start inviting other people on or charging them to come and so forth. That might, I'm not sure that's not an inappropriate issue for them to say, well, we want to have an ability to control that through zoning and so forth. And it seems like, in truth, what this does is say you can't zone against these things. So anybody can put them anywhere they want as long as it fits into one of these categories, which really is industrial, commercial, rural, or light industrial use. Then that is sort of a pretty strict prohibition, and it's not letting the decision be made locally. So I'm not unsympathetic to the need to have ranges, but it seems this one may be
not
a bit
entirely. Yeah,
heavy-handed.
I hear what you're saying. What we're talking about here is, first of all, in Calvert County, you already have the right to do this in your backyard. I mean, there are obviously local regulations, but this would be for private use that you're talking about. We're talking about public use here, for profit.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Business, setting up a business.
This bill is really specifically for someone who wants to start a business, and what they don't want is to have zoning, two classes of zoning. One class that says you can only put an indoor range here, and then a separate class that says you can only put an outdoor range here. And that doesn't make any sense. And as I was saying before, Delegate Healy, it would be the equivalent of going to a car wash and paying, and them saying, sorry, you can't get your car washed here, you got to go down the street. It just doesn't make any sense. And so this is
No, I'm not
fixing that
unsympathetic
problem.
to the idea of having indoor and outdoor
And-
options together, but that's sort of, I mean, this is sort of a prohibition on limiting it in any way at the local level, which we generally don't try to do. So and it would be different if it was like a real issue. I saw in the fiscal note it mentioned that certain changes, the county recently considered changes to the county zoning ordinance with respect to target ranges, and approved, certain changes were approved, including allowing for specified institutional target ranges, for example, for law enforcement. So maybe it does imply there is sort of some factual circumstance behind this that has not emerged in our discussion so far. So I think it would be useful to have that so we have some idea of what really is going on. But I think we're all more than willing to work with you to try to.
Thank you.
If
I
there's a
appreciate
problem that needs to be addressed, to address the problem.
Thank you. There is.
Thank you for those questions. Delegate O'Donnell. Okay. Delegate Holmes.
Thank you. I would like to get a yes or no answer. Because the longer this goes on, the more confuser I get. A simple yes or no. Under the current Calvert County zoning regulations, can Calvert County prohibit or authorize this use? Yes or no?
Can they authorize this?
Yes or no?
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand the question either.
Okay. You have zoning regulations within Calvert County.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. So far, so good. And within your zoning regulations, you have the ability to allow certain uses, and you have the ability to disallow certain uses.
That's right.
Okay. The use categories that you have in Calvert County, can you authorize this target range type facility within the current regulations of Calvert County uses in your Calvert County regulations?
Yes.
So why are you here?
We're here because we're trying to rectify a problem with the zoning ordinance to allow it so that both facilities could go in the same spot. And it's really that simple.
Okay.
Delegate O'Donnell.
Mr. Pitcher, my question is for you, because I had to go out of the room and make a call quick, and I missed. You're the current contract lobbyist for who on this issue?
The NRA?
National Rifle Association?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
That's what I stated in the beginning, I thought. Okay, I'm sorry.
Hey, thank you all very much.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes the hearing on that bill.